Kebinatshipi, can he turn it into a gold medal for Botswana? Kebinatshipi becomes the first ever champion for Botswana.
No one saw this coming. In Tokyo, a 21-year-old from Botswana just made history with one of the greatest upsets ever run. Busang Collen Kebinatshipi, a name few outside of Africa had heard before, shocked the athletics world by winning gold in the men's 400 meters, beating out Olympic legends and running the fastest time of the year. And just like that, a quiet young man became a national hero and the new face of sprinting. Here's how he did it. In a championship loaded with unpredictability, no one expected the greatest story of the men's 400 meters at the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo to come from this young runner. The 400 meters final was already unusual. The heavy favorites were gone. Olympic champion Quincy Hall was sidelined with injury. Paris silver medalist Matthew Hudson-Smith and bronze medalist Muzala Samukonga couldn't even make it out of the semifinals. It was supposed to be a wide-open race between rising stars, but what unfolded was the rise of a phenomenon. Kebinatshipi, racing in lane 6, burst onto the scene with a jaw-dropping 43.53 seconds, setting a new national record, the fastest time of the season, and the kind of result that sends shockwaves through the sport. He led Botswana to its first-ever men's world title in an individual track event, and he made it look effortless.
I'm still in shock, but coach have been telling me, since warm-up, he's been telling me, man, you are ready, stop doubting yourself, so go and do your thing.
His path to this moment was years in the making. Born in Hukuntsi, Botswana, on the 13th of February 2004, Kebinatshipi was no stranger to the podium. He first made waves in 2021 as part of Botswana's gold medal-winning 4x400M team at the World U20 Championships. A year later, he helped his country win gold again at the African Championships in both the men's and mixed 4x400M relays. In 2023, he won the African U-2400 meters crown with a championship record of 44.91. That same year, he tested his talent in Europe and lowered his personal best to 44.8 inches, the Budapest World Championships semifinals. Though he didn't make the final in Paris 2024, Kebinatshipi helped Botswana clinch a historic silver in the 4x400M relay. That Olympic medal hinted at what was coming. And in 2025, he exploded. Starting the season strong, he went toe-to-toe with global elites on the Diamond League circuit, running consistent times, 44.53 inches Xiamen, 44.63 inches Shanghai, 44.51 inches Rome. Despite a modest 7th-place finish in Zurich's Diamond League final, Kebinatshipi had gained something more valuable than a podium experience. By the time he stepped onto the track in Tokyo, he was no longer just a contender, he was a force. In the heats on September 14, Kebinatshipi ran a smooth 44.48. Then came the semifinals, where he shattered his personal best with a 43.61, already a world-leading time. But even that didn't hint at what he would do next. Under heavy rain on September 18, with the world watching and the track glistening, Kebinatshipi ran the race of his life. With composure beyond his years, he left the field behind, stopping the clock at 43.53 seconds. Behind him, Trinidad and Tobago's Jereme Richards gave a valiant chase, claiming silver in a national record of 43.72. Botswana's Byapo Ndori surged through for bronze in 44.2, marking a historic moment. 2 Botswana athletes on the world podium. Kebinatshipi's reaction was almost disbelief. Getting a gold medal is the dream come true for us. I didn't expect it to come so early at this age, but it shows I can do even more in the coming years. For Botswana, this wasn't just a win, it was a breakthrough. Kebinatshipi became the country's first male individual world champion. Add Ndori's bronze and their team performance in the 4x400M relay, and Botswana's presence in global athletics reached an all-time high. What makes Kebinatshipi's victory even more remarkable is how tactically sound it was. South Africa's Zakithi Nene, who had run the fastest time of the season prior to Tokyo with a 43.76, tried to blow the race open early. But Kebinatshipi stayed patient, running his own race. That restraint and timing allowed him to power through the final 100 meters with control, while others faded. The conditions were tough. Rain can often derail even the best performances, but Kebinatshipi adapted like a veteran, keeping his form and rhythm intact through the downpour. Where others hesitated, he found another gear. Jereme Richards, a seasoned competitor at 31, reflected on his own achievement. Finally, I've been struggling for this since 2017. To improve the national record in the World Championships final was one of my dreams. Another goal was to grab the gold. Not this time, but I am satisfied with second. Byapo Ndori, Kebinatshipi's teammate, was equally in awe. "We are very surprised. We never thought this would happen," he admitted. Yet it had. Botswana was now the talk of Tokyo. And the story wasn't finished. Days later, Kebinatshipi anchored Botswana to gold in the 4x400M relay, giving the nation 2 golds and a bronze at the championships. What had once been considered a minor sprinting nation was now a global powerhouse in the quarter mile. Botswana's sprinting rise is no accident. Leading the charge is Olympic 200 meters champion Letsile Tebogo, whose blistering times and confident performances have inspired a new generation. Ndori has evolved into one of the world's most consistent relay performers. And now, Kebinatshipi, a 21-year-old who just ran the 6th fastest time in history, is the face of that revolution. To understand just how significant 43.53 seconds is, consider this. Only a few men in history have ever gone faster. Michael Johnson's 43.18 from 1999 and Wade van Niekerk's 43.03 from 2016 remain the benchmarks. Kebinatshipi's Tokyo performance places him in the company of legends, and he's just getting started. His versatility adds another layer. Kebinatshipi also boasts a 200 meters personal best of 20.28 seconds, meaning his range extends well beyond a single event. With youth on his side and a proven ability to deliver on the biggest stage, it's not a question of if he will win again, it's how much more he will dominate. This performance also signals a broader shift in athletics. For decades, the men's 400 meters has been ruled by the US, Grenada, South Africa, and select Caribbean nations. Botswana's ascent represents a new chapter, a rising African nation claiming space in an elite club. Kebinatshipi's Tokyo win is more than a medal, it's a moment, a defining event in 2025, a challenge to the status quo, a sign that the sport's future isn't just in the hands of familiar faces, but in those bold enough to rewrite history. As a final statement, Kebinatshipi's impact goes beyond numbers and medals. He represents the voice of a new era, young, bold, and fearless. While the world's eyes were on traditional favorites, this soft-spoken runner emerged from the shadows to become a household name. And in doing so, he not only gave Botswana its proudest athletics moment, but also showed us all that greatness doesn't always come with headlines in advance, it sometimes comes with a storm. When the rain cleared that night in Tokyo, the track had a new king, and his name was Busang Collen Kebinatshipi. The world better get used to it.
Watch for Reynolds Chariot on the outside and Timothy Chariot on the inside. And Nader coming wide for Portugal. Nader for Portugal from Wightman on the...
Jake Wightman was running towards the finish line with the gold medal almost in his hands in Tokyo. He was winning the race. His dad was talking on the stadium speakers, telling everyone what was happening. It looked like Jake was about to win his 2nd world title. But then, in the last few steps before the finish, something shocking happened that nobody expected. So what really happened in those final seconds? And how did Jake even make it to this race after years of terrible injuries? Let's start from the beginning and find out the full story. Back in 2022, Jake Wightman shocked the world. He beat the best runners on the planet to win the World Championship 1,500-meter title in Eugene, Oregon. His father, Jeff, was the stadium announcer that day, and he got to tell the whole crowd that his own son just became world champion. It was like a movie.
He's closing, but he's looked over his shoulder. Jake Wightman with the performance of his lifetime. He joins Steve Cram as a world champion.
But after that amazing moment, everything fell apart. First, Jake hurt his foot in 2023. Not just a small injury, he broke his foot while doing jumping exercises. That injury was so bad he couldn't run for months. He had to miss the entire 2023 season. He couldn't even try to defend his world title in Budapest. Then, in 2024, things got even worse. Jake tore his calf muscle. After that healed, he tore his hamstring. This happened just 1 week before the Paris Olympics. Jake was already with the British team, already wearing his Olympic uniform at their training camp, but he had to pull out. He couldn't race. Jake later said these weren't small problems. He explained, "I wasn't getting niggles. I was getting 2-month injuries every single time, and it wasn't the same recurring one. Every time he thought he was getting better, a completely different part of his body would break down." The injuries kept coming. In early 2025, Jake hurt his knee. The meniscus in his knee was torn, and he needed surgery. Doctors had to cut away the damaged part. All of this took a huge toll on Jake's mind. He was 31 years old now. Most runners retire by that age. He started wondering if his body was done. Jake admitted, "I probably got a little PTSD, almost, with what happened with these injuries. That's how bad it was." The injuries hurt his mind as much as his body. The relationship with his father became really hard too. For 15 years, Jeff had been Jake's coach. They'd been together through everything. But the pressure and stress of all the injuries made things difficult between them. In March 2025, Jake made a painful decision. He announced he wouldn't be coached by his father anymore. Jake wrote on Instagram, "The point has come in my career where both physically and mentally we both need to go our separate ways. By doing this, we ensure there's plenty more to come in the future, not as a coach divided by athlete, but as a father divided by son, away from the intensity and stress of training and racing." It was an incredibly hard choice, but Jake knew he had to try something different. He said, "You can't just keep hammering the same stuff and expect the same outcome." So Jake made huge changes to his whole life. He started working with a new coach, John Hartigan, who is actually the father of Jake's fiancée, Georgie. Jake and Georgie moved from London, where they'd lived for 8 years, all the way to Manchester. Why Manchester? To be closer to Jake's physiotherapist, the person who could help fix his broken body. Jake completely changed how he trained too. He ran fewer miles each week. He did more cross-training instead of just running. He cut back on the really hard workouts. He was learning to respect what his body could handle instead of pushing it too far. But even with all these changes, Jake still had doubts. He said, "Honestly, it has been a very, very bleak couple of years for me. A lot of times I doubted if I could make it back to this level." When Jake got on the bus to go to his first race at the World Championships in Tokyo, he made a promise to himself. If he didn't make it through that first round, he was done. He would quit running forever. He was 31, his body kept breaking, and he didn't know if he had anything left. Meanwhile, the 2025 World Championships were supposed to be all about other runners. Everyone was excited to see a rematch from the Paris Olympics. The Olympic final the year before had been incredible, with 4 amazing runners battling it out. But one by one, all those Olympic stars disappeared. Yared Nuguse, who won bronze at the Olympics, didn't even make the American team. He finished 5th at the US Championships. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, one of the biggest stars in running, got hurt too. He had problems with his Achilles tendon and couldn't train properly. He tried to race anyway, but got eliminated in the very first round in Tokyo. Cole Hawker won the Olympic gold medal, but he got disqualified in the semifinals in Tokyo. The officials said he pushed Germany's Robert Farken unfairly while trying to get past him. That left Josh Kerr, who won Olympic silver. Kerr was the defending world champion too, so everyone thought he would win. But during the final race, something terrible happened. After just 900 meters, Kerr's calf muscle seized up. He started limping badly. He was in so much pain but kept trying to run. Eventually, he could barely move and finished in last place, more than 30 seconds behind everyone else. With all the favorites gone, a new runner became the favorite, Niels Laros from the Netherlands. He was only 20 years old and had been winning big races all summer in the Diamond League. But Jake Wightman was still there. Against all odds, after everything he'd been through, Jake had made it through the first round. Then, the semifinals. He actually felt good. For the first time in years, he felt like himself again. Jake said, "It was only these heats and semifinals that I really felt like, this is me again." Before the final, Georgie did something sweet. She went to a shrine in Tokyo and got Jake a good luck cat figurine. Her father, John, Jake's new coach, gave it to Jake during his warm-up. Jake remembered thinking, this is heading towards something special. The final started, and the race was slow at first. Everyone was watching everyone else, waiting for someone to make a move. Josh Kerr was at the back, trying to stay in the race despite his injury. Niels Laros was perfectly positioned near the front. Jake was in a good spot too. With 200 meters to go, Jake made his move. It was the exact same move he made when he won the world title in 2022. He surged from 3rd place all the way to 1st. He was running hard, arms pumping straight and strong. His father Jeff was in the stadium again, announcing the race just like in 2022. Jeff started thinking, this is it, first man ever to regain the title, the only one of the current era to win too. For just a moment, it looked like the perfect fairy tale was about to come true. Jake was sprinting for the line. He could see the finish. He thought he had it. But then, out of nowhere, a runner in lane 3 came flying past everyone. His name was Isaac Nader from Portugal. Most people had never heard of him. He wasn't a favorite. He wasn't even expected to medal. Nader ran the final 100 meters in just 12.28 seconds. That's incredibly fast for the end of a 1,500-meter race when everyone is exhausted. Jake ran his final 100 meters in 12.9 seconds, which is also really good. But Nader was just a little bit faster.
The inside, and Nader coming wide for Portugal. Nader for Portugal from Wightman on the line. What a run! What a finish! Nader can't believe it, neither can Wightman.
The two runners crossed the finish line almost at the exact same time. Jake immediately collapsed on the track from exhaustion. He'd given everything he had. When he looked up at the big screen to see the results, his heart must have sunk. Isaac Nader, 3 minutes, 34.1 seconds, gold medal. Jake Wightman, T 3 minutes, 34.12 seconds, silver medal. The difference was 0.02 seconds. That's 2/100ths of a second. If you blink, you take longer than that. It was so close that they needed a photo finish to determine the winner.
He's flying! He will be Gout of this universe!
Ladies and gentlemen, 10:36.
Gout just broke a 5-6-year-old record, and he's only 17. The name might sound unusual, but his speed is rewriting history. What he did in under 20 seconds left even seasoned athletes speechless. He was born in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia, in December 2007, into a family of Dinka heritage whose journey led them from South Sudan to Egypt, then to Australia. His parents, Bona and Monica, settled there before he was born. The name Gout is actually a misspelling that occurred during administrative registration. His family name was originally transliterated as Gua or Guat, but now Gout, pronounced to rhyme with pout, is the name the world knows, and it's becoming one that track and field will never forget. From early years, his path to sprinting greatness started not on a track but on a soccer field. He played football as a child, honing athleticism and footwork even before he had committed fully to running. Over time, his speed became unmistakable. At Ipswich Grammar School in Queensland, his talent became more visible. He shifted focus from soccer to athletics and began to shine in youth competitions. By age 14, he had already run 100 meters in 10.57 seconds. In April 2023, as a 15-year-old, he broke the Australian under 1:8 meter record at the Junior National Championships in Brisbane, running 20.87 seconds. That was his first real announcement to the country. He was someone to watch.
Gout from Queensland, 20.87.
In 2024, he took things to another level. He ran 10.29 seconds to win the under 1:8 100 meters in Queensland, and at the Australian under 2:0 championship later that year, he took the 100-meter title. At the World U20 Championships in Lima, he won silver in the 200 meters with a time of 20.6 seconds. In December of the same year, he exploded onto the scene. He ran a 10.04 inches the 100 meters, though wind-assisted, and then turned around and ran 20.04 inches the 200 meters, breaking a 5-6-year-old Australian and Oceanian record previously held by Peter Norman since 1968. Norman's record was 20.06. That 20.04 officially became the new area record, and the performance put Gout on the map in a big way. In early 2025, Gout lit up the Australian Championships with a 19.84 inches, the 200 meters, and a 9.99 inches, the 100, both wind-assisted but jaw-dropping. Even without official records, he made one thing clear: he was already performing at elite levels. Then came perhaps his most important breakthrough to date on a stage he had never before raced on. On the 24th of June 2025, in Ostrava, Czech Republic, at the Golden Spike meet, he ran exactly 20.02 seconds with legal wind. That performance broke his own Australian and Oceanian record and ensured that this time would go down in the books. He beat Cuban Rainier Mena by 0.17 seconds, showing composure and strength late in the race. In doing so, he became the fastest Australian ever in the 200 meters at just 17 years old. That race was more than a record. It was symbolic. It was his first senior international race, and he delivered under pressure. He described feeling calm, trusting his training, and simply doing what he loves running. In that moment, the world of athletics took notice not just of his speed, but of his potential to grow even more. His personal bests now stand at 10.17 seconds in the 100 meters with legal wind and 20.02 seconds in the 200 meters. He has run faster in some races, but in those cases, tailwinds disqualified them from record status. He also has a 400-meter time of 46.2 seconds. Because of those wind-assisted runs and his breakthrough, Australia named him to its team for the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. At Tokyo 2025, competing in the 200 meters, he made it out of the heats running 20.23 seconds, but in the semifinal he ran 20.36 seconds and did not progress to the final. It was a valuable lesson. The world stage is different, margins are tight, and consistency matters more than momentary brilliance. If you look at his strengths, they're clear. He has long strides, speed endurance, and an exceptional capacity to close strong, particularly from 100 to 200 meters. Many analysts compare him to Usain Bolt, especially in his build, ease, and raw speed at a young age. But Gout has also been vocal that he wants to be Gout, not a clone of someone else.